boom, I shot that shot. It was perfect. But again, like I said, never blueprinted it. 2010 comes along, same thing. I'm behind this screen of pines. There was a hole. This bull comes down, water hole, turns broadside, looks the other way. My buddy gives me numbers. He says 41. I'm like, at 41, I know I got to put my point 18 inches over that bull's back. And so I remember I'm on my knees. I'm like, I'm shooting this shot perfectly or I ain't going to shoot it at all. Up my presence, made that decision, what we call the original decision. Started drawing my bow back, felt it slipping again, right? And you know that feeling where it starts to go. You're like,
anxiety.
Nah. I'm like, nah, I'm going to do this right. And I got the full draw. I put that point 18 inches over his back. Here I go. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Click, boom, I shot that arrow. I can see it to this day. It was just gorgeous. I mean, I X-ringed him at 41 yards with my longbow. It was so cool. But again, I didn't blueprint it. So sitting in that tree stand in December of 2014, that's when I said, I got to figure this out. And that's what I figured out was the decisions. I mapped the decisions it took to keep myself present so that I could concentrate. And that day I said, I'm never doing it again. I'm never shooting another uncontrolled shot on a critter or whatever it was. You know, I'm still a cop at that point. And I'm like, I'm going to do it right no matter what. No matter what.
And so what was the process of figuring out a repeatable blueprint?
Okay. The blueprint was, so I started thinking about this so that I could actually blueprint these things. I'm like, okay, what is it? The blueprint is this. It's 4 questions. So when you shoot that perfect shot, question number 1, what was I thinking about after here I go? Because all the stuff up to here I go is pretty much the setup of the shot. You've got your aim, you've got tensions, maybe you roll to the click in your hinge. What am I thinking about after here I go? And what you need to be thinking about is nothing other than that shot activation movement. What is the movement that's going to cause this explosion? Where do I need to put my concentration? It's got to be in nothing other than the movement. But you'll find in archery and shooting, most shooting sports, people leave their thought process in the aim, where it does you no good, right? So question number 1, what was I thinking about after here I go? Question number 2, what was I saying after here I go? What words or sounds did you use to guide your concentration? So you now know what you need to be thinking. You know exactly what you need to be saying or what sound you're using, if it's a hum or an audible exhale or whatever it may be. Question number 3, could I have stopped it? Were you so keenly concentrated on your shot activation movement that you could have stopped it anywhere within it? And if you can say yes to that, that's a big ask, right? But if you can say yes, I could have stopped it, that means that you were truly in a closed-loop control system. And the only way to get into that is by having enough determination to make a decision so that you're present, so that you can concentrate. So those are the fundamentals of precision shooting, right? So what am I thinking after here I go? What am I saying after here I go? Could I have stopped it? And finally, what decisions did I make to get myself in the process for this one shot? Because it all only lasts for one shot. And then your mind completely resets it. Like, I didn't like that. You surprised me with an explosion. Got me this time. Not happening again. So you have to go through the same process over and over and over. And the decisions get easier to make, but they still have to be made.
Well, this is why I think this is important, and this applies to so many things in life, because so many movements and things and actions in life they're sort of powered by anxiety. Mm-hmm. They're powered by like you just like you spaz out because you're not in the moment. You're just reacting.
Right.
Whereas what you're doing and what you're teaching with archery, and what I've learned from you, is that if I say to myself while I'm shooting, if I'm talking to myself and I go through this whole list, center the bubble, center the sight, relax the shoulder, draw, pull, release. And when it releases, I'm in control of the whole thing from top. And there's just all these anxiety-driven thoughts that just get it out, go, just do this. He's going to get away. Something's going to happen. You're going to miss.
Right.
But if you stay in your own thought process and talk to yourself. So like when I'm at full draw on an animal, I'm like pull, 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 pop. All I'm thinking of is these mechanics of making that shot release.
Yeah.
Instead of all that other shit, by forcing myself to say pull, pull, pull at the final things, I eliminate any possibility of shit going wrong, because all I'm thinking of is those words.
Right.
All I'm thinking of is that movement and those words, and it's magic.
Right.
And so many people in the world of bow hunting don't know this. More people know this now because of you.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first found your stuff online, I was like, okay, this makes sense, because I knew it was a mind fuck, and I was shocked at how mind fucky it is, because I'm a martial artist, so I'm used to just reacting to things. I'm used to relying on training and it's moving automatically.
Yeah.
But you cannot do that with archery. No. It requires stillness and calmness and being centered and in the moment in a very unusual way. That's like pool. And that moment of everything relying on this one thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
All your success and failure, you might have shot thousands of arrows in practice, but that doesn't mean jack shit. Right now, you have to get this one arrow out perfect.
Right.
And it might be a giant animal that's a screaming bull, and you're shooting through a window of 2 trees that's 12 inches wide at 50 yards away, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's so much like, oh, don't hit the tree. Oh, don't fuck this up. Oh, you fucked it up last time. You can fuck it up again. Don't miss. And all those different things. If you just have this thought process in your head, going through your pre-shot routine perfectly, pulling back on the bow, centering your bubble, centering your peep, pull, 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 swap. It just goes off.
Yeah. It's so unnatural for you to control an explosion.
There's also this thing where you want to pretend like you know how to do it now. Like, I got it. I got this. I don't have to think about that anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't get target panic anymore.
Yeah.
I've got this.
Yeah.
But if you do, you'll mind fuck yourself, and then it'll happen again.
Oh, absolutely. It's waiting. It's always it's the default. You punching the trigger is the default. And we watch this all the time with professional archers. Their career does this, right? It's up and down, and to a point where people sometimes they're like, oh, the commentator's like, oh God, right? Because their thumb's not even on the button, right? They're like, oh my God, if he can just get his thumb on the button, he'll be okay, right? And it's like, man. And then they super weight their bow because they don't necessarily understand how their eye actually works, and they use stabilizers to calm their mind, and it's completely opposite of how things actually work